bizarre and dangerous way of keeping the peace. It's expensive, too.
An enormous amount of our resources goes into this destructive activity. Had we been capable of doing away with that, we would have had enormous resources to take care of the damage that we've done to the Earth.
Given the rate at which the human beings are destroying the planet, they're not alive long. So those doing the damage may not live long enough to suffer the consequences. That must make it difficult for them to act responsibly, to have an overview, to take effective action.
Most people are not aware that what they're doing is suicidal. Some individuals are. But the culture is continuing trends that began hundreds of years ago that, in the beginning, were reasonably benign. Were not dangerous. Were suicidal.
Humanity does think about the future, and when people have children, they tend to think about their future and their grandchildren's future and so on. But there's some kind of blockage in their mind which doesn't allow them to link up what they're doing now, in the present, with what's going to happen in the future. And it's almost as if the two time frames were severed, so that the consequences of what happens in the present had no bearing on what happens in the future. And that means that they can stomp around all over the place saying, we care enormously about the future of our children, and even as they're saying it, they're probably doing something which is trespassing on, if not destroying, the chances of their children having a good future. It's most peculiar to watch.
Human beings are exploiting, without understanding, the life-sustaining systems that make up nature. And Earth grows sick.
Single-minded progress of the human beings is made entirely in their own terms, without reference to ecological realities.
They appear to be incapable of responding coherently and unable to control their own growth. Conclusion is inescapable. The living planet has cancer.
And the cancer is humanity.
Put that to the human beings.
I'm not surprised you've come to that conclusion. If you look at it rationally, dispassionately, at what we're doing to this planet, to this incredibly beautiful, incredibly rich form of life, then it would be difficult to interpret our actions in any other way. And I think that at the moment your judgment is bang on the line. Whether we remain that kind of malignant force on Earth for all time is very much a question still to be decided.
I've sometimes had that thought myself. We seem to have much in common with the cancer in that we're growing uncontrollably, and that we are beginning, as a cancer does, to affect the viability of the system that supports us. Cancers eventually die because they lead to the death of their basic support system, that is the organism which they're afflicting.
Man may be a cancer on the planet, but it's also part of the planet, and I think it's part of the planet that can self-correct. And we're only hoping that, as H.G. Wells once said, that if the 20th century sees a race between education and catastrophe, that the rate of education will hopefully catch up before the catastrophes all descend.
Yet in one important respect, the human beings don't behave like cancer. They know, or some of them know, that they are malignant.
Almost by definition, a cancer cannot be aware that it's destroying its host.
In realizing the threat they pose to the living planet, the human beings may have begun a new evolutionary phase of life on Earth.
The human beings evolving to become the Earth's intelligence, husbanding, nurturing, and loving it. What a wonderful idea. Life on Earth in harmony.
In terms of the rather negative thing, the threat of extinction might well serve to unite humankind in the way that it hasn't before. And one can certainly see an international consensus developing that some of the ecological problems we face now really must bring us together.
I think a great many human beings do have an idea of the beauty and majesty of this planet, and it is just that recognition, that awareness, that gives me some hope that human beings may yet figure out how to maintain this planet as a habitable spot for many centuries and millennia to come.
very optimistic about our basic nature and how it could be molded to produce a sustainable society and a sustainable future. The question is, will we try to mold ourselves in that direction? One nice thing about living in these exciting times is that the things that we do today, that human beings do now, are likely to determine the entire course of our species for the next thousands or even millions of years.